important piece of the puzzle was found in 2005, when cancer researcher Keith Chang was studying the black and white stripes of zebrafish.
There are a lot of zebrafish in my laboratory because I'm a geneticist and I study how mutations occur, which is how cancer occurs, and I use pigmentation to detect those mutations. By chance, the light skin-colored fish that I used for that research also taught us a lot about how Europeans, how humans became lighter skinned.
What Professor Chang discovered was perhaps one of the most important genetic mutations ever found. A single change among literally billions of coded instructions within zebrafish DNA that reduced black pigment from their stripes. Soon after, this identical genetic mutation was found in fair-skinned Europeans.
There was a magic moment in this research. When I got back the results that showed that the number and the size and the amount of pigment in the light-skinned zebrafish were all diminished, and the same thing happened in humans. When I opened the textbook and saw that same thing, I began to sweat. Not only did light-skinned people evolve from black-skinned people, but lighter-skinned people, whether they're European or whether they're Asian, like me, were actually mutants of the dark-skinned people.
This was remarkable because we had only inferred on the basis of circumstantial evidence that this must have occurred in evolution, but we didn't have any concrete genetic evidence. Now we do.
Shalom. And it's your brother PJ back. Sorry it took me a little minute. I had to take a little hiatus for about a week to get this video together for you. But today's video we're gonna be covering, I'm gonna call this the original man in China. And basically it's gonna be breaking down who and what brought the original cultures and a lot of the things to China that we see today. And who was the foundations of one of the oldest cultures and societies that we have today, which is ancient China. Who really started it and what those people depicted and what they really look like. And we'll be covering that today. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the Bodhidharma and the legend of Thankyou in the Ming Dynasty. This Bodhidharma is the patriarch of the martial arts. And so we're going to go into that a little bit more. It was around the 15th century in the hollow halls of the Victoria and the Alberta Museum in London rests a remarkable treasure from China's illustrious Ming Dynasty. This 15th century porcelain statue depicts Bodhidharma, the legend Buddhist monk whose influence will forever transform the martial arts tradition of the Far East. Crafted with exquisite attention to detail, the statue captures the essence of a man whose legacy transcends both spiritual and physical disciplines. Bodhidharma is known in Chinese and Dhammo as a Dhammo, stands as one of the most significant figures in the transmission of Buddhist teachings from India to China. His journey across the Himalayas to the 5th and the 6th century CE marks not only the spiritual pilgrimage, but also the beginning of the profound cultural exchange that will shape the martial arts tradition of the East Asia for centuries to come. So, just like when we talk about the Shaolin monks and the Buddhist monk and all those traditions, this is where this comes from. And when you see this picture, you'll obviously see what he looks like. He's a very dark-skinned brother from the Middle East, from India, and he brought martial arts to China at that time. Bodhidharma is reputed to have taken martial arts from India to the Far East and established the foundation of what has become the legendary Shaolin martial arts tradition. His teachings emphasize the unity of mind, body, and spirit, and principles that remain central to martial arts philosophy till today. So even today, when you talk about Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and anybody that does martial arts today, those core values and everything foundational came from this man right here. The Ming Dynasty from 1368 to 1644 represents one of the golden ages of Chinese porcelain production. This statue of the Bodhidharma exemplifies the technical mastery and the artistry that sophisticates achieves during this period. And basically what that's saying is, and everybody knows this still today, China was known and is still known today as one of the top people to produce porcelain, different artwork, plates. There's different fancy artwork and things still that we see today. Just like you see this porcelain statue that was made in the image of Bodhidharma. The artisan skill is evident. It is very detailed, from the contemplative expression on Bodhidharma's face to the flowing robes that drape from his form. The green outer robe, symbolic of the nature and grown contrast beauty, with the warm brown tones of the inner garment, expose his chest, creating a visual harmony that reflects the Buddhist principle of balance. The statue posture conveys both strength, serenity, and embodies the dual nature of Bodhidharma's legacy in both a spiritual teacher, a father of martial arts. His beard, rendered as an intricate detail, speaks of his wisdom and age, while his steady gaze and suggests an unwavering focus required for both meditation and martial arts practice. And just to close on Bodhidharma, this was a so-called black man that brought one of the biggest things to China that they still use today and predominantly are dominant until this day, which is martial arts, karate, and all these different fighting styles. Still to this day, people travel to China to learn different martial arts fighting styles, and it was started because of this man right here. And very few times you when you go to China and they tell you about this man, to show you the real pictures of what it looked like. And when I open up on this video, just like the video I showed you, it was showing you the biology and the breakdown of China. From the beginning, the people from China were melanated, dark-skinned people. That's their history. So even the lightest-skinned person in China today knows this. They know that most of the things that they have, the language, the culture, it comes from the very dark person
the Buddha's hair
that they cast out in society today that you don't see.
No Chinese person's hair look like that. The Buddha has knotty hair. Every time you see the Buddha, his hair is knotted. Just a thought.
I ain't perfect, but I'm more than enough. Soft but unbreakable, tender but tough. I look at her now with brand new eyes, and I speak truth instead of lies. Mirror talk, crown straight, voice kind, telling myself I'm already divine. Mirror talk, no shame, just grace. A love letter to my own face. If nobody claps when I walk tall, I'll still show up like I own it all. Mirror talk, day or night. Speak life till it shines in my sight. I don't wait for the world to tell me who I am. I remind myself every time I pass by glass, that girl in the mirror, she's everything, and she believes it now. Mirror talk, crown straight, voice kind, telling myself I'm already divine. Mirror talk, no shame, just grace. A love letter to my own face. If nobody claps when I walk tall, I'll still show up like I own it all. Mirror talk.
And we're going to move on to the red-faced warrior, Gao Yo. It's a traditional, and I put a picture of him, it's a traditional depiction of Gao Yo, the legendary general of the Three Kingdoms period. Gao Yo stands as one of the most revered figures in Chinese history and mythology. A military general who served under the warlord Luo Bei, who during the late Eastern Han Dynasty, Gao Yo's valor and loyalty and martial art prowess have been celebrated for nearly 2 millennia. His transformation from historical figure to the divine being represents one of the most remarkable examples of deification in Chinese religious tradition. So this is another, let's put up a picture, another brother, a black man. Y'all obviously can see by the color and how they depict him in the picture, that was revered at first as a great warrior, but because he was revered so much that he became almost like a religious figure. Traditionally, Gao was portrayed as a red-faced warrior, a distinctive characteristic that became inseparable from his image. This striking visual element carries deep symbolic meaning in Chinese culture, representing righteousness, loyalty, courage. The red face has become so iconic that it immediately identifies Gao in any artistic representation, whether in a painting, sculpture, or theatrical performance. The origin of the red face. The idea of Gao's red face may have derived from the vivid description in chapter 1 of the 14th century of the historical novel of Romance of Three Kings, one of the four great classic novels of the Chinese literature. The epic work, while based on historical events, established romanticized the lives of three kings period, heroes that created legends that would captivate Chinese imagination for centuries. The reference of the dark Zhao is a particularly significant Zhao. There's also the jubei, or Chinese date, a fruit that ranges from color to reddish brown to a deep crimson. When ripe, this comparison is not that it only describes Gao's complexion, but also a connection to him and the nutrients and valued fruit, which has been cultivated in China for over 4,000 years and holds a symbolic importance in Chinese culture and traditional medicine. From general to god, the deification of Gao. Gao's transformation from martial arts warrior to divine began remarkably in the early Chinese history. As early as the Sui dynasty in 581 to 618, less than 4 centuries after his death, Gao was already being venerated as a deity. This rapid deification speaks to the profound impact his life and legend had on the Chinese culture and spiritually. Today, Gao is worshipped across multiple religious traditions and demonstrated the synergetic nature of Chinese religious practice. In Buddhist tradition, he is revered as a Buddhabhasta, or an enlightened being who is chosen to remain in the world to help others achieve enlightenment. Being who is chosen to remain in the world to help others, exalted positions, reflecting the deep integration of his cult into the fabric of Chinese spiritual life. The widespread veneration of Gao is evident by countless temples and shrines depicted to him throughout Chinese-speaking world. Martial arts temples and shrines depicting exclusively to Gao can be found across mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, Taiwan, and other places significant Chinese influence such as Vietnam, South Korea, and Japan. These are sacred places served as centers of worship and community gathering and cultural preservation. In these temples, devotes seek Gao's protection and guidance in the matters of loyalty, righteousness, and courage. Business owners pray for his blessing in their commercial endeavors, while martial artists honor him, an embodiment of warrior virtue. His images, whether in the statue form or painted in the portrait, invariably shows him with a distinctive red face, long beard, and deified bearing. And just to talk about this a little bit more, and if you ever, a lot of people ain't gonna have the chance, but for anybody that travels to China and anybody that speaks to Asian people, when they see people melanated of this type of color and what they're talking about, they never see those kind of people. It's very rare in mainland China that they see anybody with melanin, but the people that they deify and that they worship in their religion are melanated people. This is what I'm breaking down to you, and this is something that they don't tell people. But most of their gods that they worship are our ancestors. And this is what a lot of people in America do not understand. Is these other cultures, when they talk about their religion is talking about your ancestors, something that happened a long time ago. And that's their religion, because they look at them and deify them as gods, because they brought culture and civilization to them. That is the importance that our people bring to the world. And that is the whole point of these videos, to show you the importance that we bring to civilization and culture. These people deify our ancestors because of that. Have statues all over China, all over Asia, because of these things. And this is just something that most people of color need to see, so they'll open their eyes. Because when you go over there, they're not going to tell you this or show you this. This is something you have to know. You have to understand for yourself. And we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the Yuan dynasty. We're gonna talk about Kunlun Khan, and I'll put a little short video before that I talk about Kunlun Khan, and it's gonna be talking about Genghis Khan, which is his father, which is also a man of color. But the Yuan dynasty was in the 14th century. And when you look at this picture is from a Chinese scroll from the Yuan dynasty. It is an Asian art museum. It is found in San Francisco, and is depicting the Black King, Kunlun Khan. The Asian Art Museum in San Francisco houses a remarkable treasure from the Yuan dynasty from 1271 from 1368, the 14th century scroll that offers a fascinating glimpse into the court and life of the artistic traditions of the pivotal period of the Chinese history. The Yuan dynasty, established by Kunlun Khan's grandson, a legendary Genghis Khan, represents a unique chapter in Chinese history when the empire was ruled by Mongol conquerors who nevertheless embraced and patronized Chinese culture and art. Now, when they talk about Mongol conquerors, they're talking about the melanated people that you see in the picture. They're not talking about the lighter skinned people talking about in the picture. When they talk about the Mongol Empire and the Mongols, they're talking about the melanated people of China. The people in Southeast Asia, what you would call your Filipinos, your Australians, those are still Asian people. The people in South India, those are the people that we're talking about that they're calling Mongols. This scroll is rich in colors and intricate details. Exemplifies the sophisticated artistic production that flourished under the Yuan patronage. The golden background is a hallmark of imperial art and creates a luminous effect that elevates figures depicted, suggests their elevated status and importance. So just like I was saying, I say in other videos, and they just depicted here is these artworks are put on very fine paper that takes a long time to make, because there's a process to make these fine papers so that the oil will last this long. And for somebody to go through the process of making this paper and then going through the process, because the back in the day to have these colors is not like now where you can go get a crayon and go get some paint and you can have whatever color you wanted. They literally had to go out in nature to find this red, to find all these colors to paint this. So somebody would not go through all these different tasks to paint this picture on a scroll and then depict it all wrong. It's too much work put into it. And that's what I'm saying about any of these artworks or any depictions that I'm showing you on my YouTube channel. Back in the day, it took too much work to put in to just depict things wrong. They wouldn't do it. And we go back to, we're going to talk about the person central in the composition of painting holds significant importance as the Chinese in traditional and Chinese imperial art. It is positioned at the focal point, drawing the viewer attention, conveying that the main message of the artwork and the individual central placement, combined with a distinctive appearance and elaborate dress, suggests that it represents the key key figure in the Yuan court. Could this be Kublai Khan himself? The central figure, positioning, expression, and attire, interacting with the surrounding figures, all contribute to the overall narrative of power and authority. The dark complexion and distinctive features align with the historical descriptions, and other artistic representations of the Mongol rulers in the Yuan dynasty. Just like I said before, the Mongol rulers were dark-skinned, melanated people. They came under the rule of Genghis Khan, which was a melanated man. In Chinese artistic tradition, the person central to the composition often holds the significant importance. Their position, expression, attire, and interaction with the surroundings or other figures contribute to the overall storytelling within the artwork. They might represent a key historical figure or a significant monumentous event in the dynasty's history. Kublai Khan, the founder of the Yuan dynasty. Kublai Khan, from 1215 to 1294, stands as one of the most significant rulers in Chinese history. Despite the Mongol origins, as a grandson of Genghis Khan, he inherited a vast empire, but his greatest achievement was the establishment and the consolidation of the Mongol rule over China. In 1271, he proclaimed that the empire's dynastic name, the Great Yuan, formally establishing the Yuan dynasty that would rule China until 1368. Unlike his grandfather, who was primarily a conqueror, Kublai Khan proved to be an astute administrator, a patron of Chinese culture. He moved to the capital of Beidou, the modern-day Beijing, adopted Chinese government structures, and supported the arts and scholarship. His court became a center of cultural exchange where Chinese, Mongol, and Persian and European influence mingled, creating a unique cosmopolitan atmosphere. So essentially, just like we have today in America, where you have a melting pot where different cultures, different people come together, this is something Kublai Khan had already created in the 1300s in China, where different cultures from different places would come together and mingle and share different ideas, spices, different things that you couldn't get around the world. This is where you get the spice trade. All these different things were happening already. Kublai Khan ruled Yuan China until his death in 1294, a reign over 2 decades that saw a consolidation of the Mongol Empire, the flourishing trade along the Silk Road, and the famous visit of the Marco Polo, whose accounts would introduce China to the Western world. His legacy as both the conqueror and culture patron matches him one of the most complex and fascinating figures in imperial China history. The artifacts and artworks examined in this document from the Ming Dynasty proclaim the statue of Bodhidharma and to the Yuan Dynasty scrolling depend that what may be Kublai Khan's court, representing more than historical objects. They are windows into a rich tapestry of Chinese civilization, revealing the complex interplay of religion, politics, art, and culture that has shaped one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations. Bodhidharma's journey from India to China symbolizes the cultural exchanges that enrich Chinese civilization, bringing new spiritual practices and physical disciplines that would become integral to Chinese identity. His legacy lives in the martial arts and traditions practiced worldwide, and the Chan Zen Buddhist teachings continue to inspire seekers of enlightenment. Guy Yuan, its transformation from the historical general to divine protector, illustrates the Chinese capacity for synthesizing history, legend spiritually into the living religious tradition. His temples remain active centers of worship, and his image continues to inspire devotion, emulation of his virtues and loyalty, and righteousness and courage. The Yuan Dynasty scrolls reminds us that the Chinese civilization has always been dynamic and adaptive, capable of absorbing foreign influence while maintaining its essential character. Under the Mongol rule, Chinese art and culture not only survived but flourished, demonstrating resilience and vitality of Chinese civilization. Sorry. And just to wrap up what they were saying, basically, just like I was saying, is this something that society won't tell you, is a lot of the key components of religion, culture, fashion, artwork, and just the very fabric of China and that area of Asia, from India to China, was very heavily influenced by these people I'm showing you, the depiction of these people I'm showing you. And this is something that people don't highlight, and this is something that we as melanated people have to highlight and have to know for ourselves, that we are the foundation of a lot of societies, even though we might not get the credit for it. And to continue, we're going to talk about the Kunlun people, the dark-skinned figures of the ancient Chinese art, the Tang dynasty, exploring the revered presence of the diverse peoples of Chinese Golden Age. The Tang dynasty of Chinese Golden Age. The Tang dynasty from 618 to 907 CE stands as one of the most prosperous cultural significant periods in Chinese history, spanning nearly 3 centuries, from the 7th to the 10th century AD. This imperial dynasty witnessed unprecedented economic growth and territorial expansion and cultural flourishment that would influence East Asian civilization for centuries to come. During the Tang dynasty, China's capital, Chang'an, modern-day Xi'an, became the largest and most cosmopolitan city in the world, with the population exceeding 1 million inhabitants. The city served as an eastern terminus of the Silk Road, attracting merchants, diplomats, scholars, and travelers from across Asia, the Middle East, and beyond. This remarkable period of openness and cultural exchange reflecting in the art and the artifacts that preserve today. Cultural significance. The Tang dynasty is often regarded as the high point of Chinese civilization, a period when poetry, painting, music, sculpture reached unprecedented heights of sophistication. The dynasty's cosmopolitan character is evident by the diverse peoples and representation in its arts, including the Kunlun people, of the individuals with dark skin and curly hair who appeared frequently in the Tang dynasty's painting and sculptures. The Tang dynasty's artistic legacy includes not only magnificent poetry and calligraphy, but its rich tradition, figurative art. Among the most intricate subjects depicting in the Tang art and are the Kunlun people, whose presence in Chinese artistic and literary traditions reveals the remarkable diversity and cultural exchange that characterized the golden age of Chinese civilization. And just to add a little note, just to add a little extra to that, is just like I'm saying today, and you see that with different melanated groups, which you see with Black and Hispanic, Asian, and so-called African American, is we spend more time fighting each other than we do actually looking at the people that put us in the predicaments that we find ourselves in every day. Because as I'm showing you the history, you're reading through this, It seems like back in these days, the world was a more calmer place where they just wanted to work together. Yes, you still had wars, but people still wanted to work together. You had wars and disagreements, yes, but people still wanted to work together for a common goal. It wasn't as today where it's total destruction, takeover. Paintings of the Kunlun people. Among the most striking visual records of the Tang Dynasty cosmopolitan character are the paintings depicting individuals with dark skin and curly hair. These artworks preserved in museums and archaeological sites provide invaluable evidence of diverse people who lived and visited and were known to Tang Dynasty China. The paintings show these individuals adored in colorful garments, other featuring the characteristics Tang Dynasty style dress with flowing robes, decorative sashes, and elaborate accessories. The artists paid careful attention to the physical features, including the skin tone, hair texture, facial characteristics, demonstrating both artistic skill and ethnographic interest in accurately representing different peoples. Detailed depictions in Tang art. And as I put up, you'll see different depictions of the Kunlun people. The artistic representation of the Kunlun people in Tang Dynasty paintings reveal sophisticated understanding of human diversity. The artworks employ a rich palette of colors and deep browns, black skin tones, vibrant reds, greens for coloring, and gold accents for jewelry and decorative elements. These color choices not only demonstrate a technical mastery, but also to just high status and importance of these individuals depicted. The paintings are shown that these figures' dynamic pose engage in various activities or standing in positions of prominence. Their clothing, jewelry, accessory indicate that they were not marginalized members of society, but rather individuals of significance, possibly merchants, diplomats, performers, or other respected members of cosmopolitan Tang society. The preservation of these paintings in the cave temples and other sacred sites suggests that the presence of the diverse people was not only accepted, but celebrated in the Tang Dynasty. The careful attention to detail and prominent placement of these figures and artistic composition indicate that a society that valued and respected cultural diversity. Understanding the term Kunlun. The term Kunlun is an ancient Chinese text that historical records carries multiple layers of meaning, reflecting both geographical and cultural concepts that envelop over centuries. Understanding this term essentially to appreciate the complex relationship between China and diverse people of Southeast Asia and beyond. Linguistic definition. It is most straightforward usage. Kunlun simply refers to the people with a dark skin and curly hair. This descriptive term was used by Han Chinese people referring to individuals from Southeast Asia and other regions who possess a distinctive physical characteristics that the term primarily descripted rather than the projective serving as a way to identify and distinguish different ethnic groups and multicultural society. And just like I was saying before, the people from North Asia or your Asians would always draw a line or separate themselves through a caste system in different ways. They would call themselves from the Southeast Asians, but they're all from the same demographic. They're all Asians. And just like in the video prior at the beginning, the scientists broke this down that all lighter skinned Asians derive from darker skinned Asians that derive from melanated people. This is something that's been scientifically broken down. They don't want this to be out and known as a fact, but this is something that scientifically is broken down. They want people to know, to understand that they want people to think and to understand that Asian people are a race unto themselves, and they just popped up on earth by themselves with no other influence, no other culture, or no other race, when that is not true. The Han Chinese, who form the majority ethnic group in China, use various terms to describe and categorize diverse people encountered through the trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. The Kunlun emerged as such a term, specifically denoting individuals whose physical appearance differ markedly from the Han Chinese norm. This linguistic practice reflects the ancient Chinese interest in ethnography and their attempts to understand and categorize the diverse human population they encounter. It is important to note that the use of such descriptive terms in ancient China did not necessarily carry the same connotations or implications as similar categorizations might in other historical or contemporary contexts. The Tang dynasty in particular was characterized by remarkable openness to foreign people and cultures. The presence in diverse ethnic groups were generally viewed as a sign of empire's power and prosperity and cosmopolitan sophistication. So just like I said before, it wasn't like it was today where it's more of a racial thing. To have diverse people come in and to understand them and to value them in their own way was something that was looked as good from different societies. To have that openness and understanding. The Kunlun in Chinese mythology. In Chinese mythology and cosmology, Kunlun takes an entirely different and exalted meaning. The Kunlun Mountains, or the mountain of Kunlun, represents a mythical mountain range believed to be dwelling place of immortals and deities and celestial beings. This sacred geography occupies a central place in Chinese religious and physiological traditions, particularly in Taoism. In this mythical context, the Kunlun are not slaves, but rather revered beings associated with the divine realm. The mountain itself described as a paradise place where boundaries between heaven and earth blur, where mortals might encounter the immortals and gain access to esoteric knowledge and spiritual power. Just like I was saying prior, this is something that people of color do not understand, is lighter skinned people or pale people look at us as gods, or they look at us as sources of power or sources of information. And that's no different from this time today, as they looked at the Kunlun people, just like I told you before, Kunlun mean is melanated people, dark-skinned people with curly hair, just like they called them, were called immortals, were celestial beings from a higher place. Get what I'm saying? And this is what I was trying to, and they revere us to this high status at that time. Now, this is something today that they don't want nobody to know. You go ask Asian people today about the Kunlun people, they're going to tell you it denotes to the slave connotation and not this connotation I'm trying to break down right now. And the mythical mountain Kunlun, as described as an ancient text as a towering peak reaching into the heavens, surrounded by jade terraces and golden palaces and gardens of immortality. It is said to be the residence of Queen Mother of the West, one of the most important deities in Chinese mythology, who presides over the paradise of immortals and guards the peaches of immortality. This mythological association adds another dimension to our understanding to the term Kunlun. In Chinese culture, while the term could refer to actual peoples from the Southeast Asia, it also carries connotations of the sacred, mysterious, and divine. This dual meaning, both earthly and celestial, reflects to the complex and multifaceted nature of Chinese cultural concepts. The connection between the earthly Kunlun people and the mythical Kunlun people's realm may not be coincidental. In ancient Chinese thought, distant lands and foreign peoples were often associated with mysterious and magical. The exotic appearance and distant origin of the Kunlun people may have contributed to the associations with it mythical mountain realm. lending them an aura of a mystery and a spiritual significance. Just like I was saying before, they seen these dark-skinned people that probably came around with information, books, and understanding of the earth that they didn't have, and they looked at them and revered them as gods. Not saying this is a good thing. This is all folly, but this is something in their tradition that they hide from us. There are no widely recognized records or historical references specifically mentioning the Kunlun people as slaves in ancient Chinese society. The absence of the evidence is significant and challenges the common misconceptions about the status of dark-skinned people in ancient China. The term Kunlun typically refers to a mountain range or mythical mountains in the Chinese mythology. It is commonly associated with the specific ethnic or cultural group that would have been enslaved. While slavery did exist in various forms throughout Chinese history, the historical record does not support the notion that the Kunlun people as a group were systematically enslaved or held in servitude. Instead, the evidence from the Tang art and literature suggests that the individual with dark skin and curly hair occupied various positions in society. Some may have been merchants engaged in lucrative trade along the Silk Road, bringing exotic goods from Southeast Asia, India, and beyond. Others may have been diplomats representing their home kingdoms in cosmopolitan Tang capital. Still others may have been performers, artists, skilled craftsmen, whose also talents were valued in Tang society. Tang's dynasty openness to foreign people and culture created opportunities for individuals from diverse backgrounds to participate in Chinese society. The imperial court employed foreign musicians and dancers, entertainers, and foreign merchants, established communities in major Chinese cities. This cosmopolitan atmosphere is reflected in the art of the period, which frequently depicts foreign people in positions of dignity and respect. The artistic representation of the Kunlun people in Tang dynasty represents sculptures and consequently shows them as being deified individuals, often elaborated dress and adored with jewelry. These depictions suggest and respect admiration rather than subjugation or servitude. The care taken by artists to accurately render their physical features and clothing indicates an interest in documenting and celebrating the diversity of these people in Tang China. Just like I was saying before, and they wouldn't go through all this time and through all this effort to show you these people, and they just slaves. Nobody does that. It makes no sense. And we're gonna talk about some more key figures in Tang Dynasty. The glazed pottery. And I'm gonna put up a couple pictures. You're gonna see a couple pictures of the glazed pottery. You're gonna see obviously these black boys with afros depicted. Among the most remarkable artifacts from the Tang Dynasty are the glazed pottery figures depicting young boys with dark skin and curly hair. These sculptures, dating from the 7th and 8th century AD, were produced in north-central China and represented the height of Tang Dynasty ceramic artistry. Examples of these figures are preserved in prestigious institutions of Shusaka Museum in Paris and the Victoria and Alberta Museum in London. Now it's gonna be a picture of a little clip of multiple pictures and sculptures and different ceramic work from the Tang Dynasty depicting so-called melanated people. And the glazed pottery figures demonstrate the extraordinary technical skill of the Tang Dynasty ceramics and the artists employed to sophisticate glazing techniques to create the rich, lustrous surfaces in multiple colors and deep blues, the vibrant greens, the warm browns, and the golden yellows. These are polychrome glazes known as three-color wear, representing one of the most distinctive achievements of the Tang Dynasty ceramic art. The sculptors paid meticulous attention to the anatomical accuracy and individual characteristics. The curly hair is rendered with remarkable precision, each curl carefully molded to create a natural look. The facial features are equally detailed, with expressive eyes, carefully shaped noses, and smiling mouths. They give each of the figures distinctive personality and sense of vitality. These pottery figures were not merely decorative objects, but served as important functions in Tang Dynasty society. Many were created as tomb figures intended to occupy the deceased into the afterlife, provide companionship and a service in the next world. An inclusion of the figures represent the diverse peoples in the tombs and assemblage reflects the cosmopolitan nature of the Tang Dynasty and the importance of the connections of the deceased and identity status. Ancient connections of the Shang Dynasty. The representation of the dark-skinned people in the Chinese arsenal extends far beyond the Tang Dynasty, reaching back to the very origins of Chinese civilization. One of the most remarkable examples of ancient connection in the Li Tigris bronze liberation vessel from the Shang Dynasty dating approximately 1600 BCE. Li Tigris Shang Dynasty, the bronze vessel. This extraordinary bronze artifact depicts a tiger protecting a dark-skinned man, which I'll put this picture up to also. As a tiger protecting a dark-skinned man, demonstrating the presence, representing diverse peoples in China. Art dates back to over 3,600 years. This vessel iconograph suggests a productive or guardian relationship with the tiger, a powerful symbol in Chinese culture, shown in association with the human figure. The Shang Dynasty, circa 1600 to 1046 BCE, represents the first historical verified Chinese dynasty known for its sophisticated bronze casting techniques and complex ritual practices. The creation of the elaborate bronze vessels or the ceremonial and religious purposes of these hallmark Shang culture, and these objects often feature intricate designs and incorporated human and animal figures. The depiction of dark-skinned individuals on such important ritual objects suggests that the presence of a diverse people in ancient China was not only acknowledged but incorporated into this symbolic religious life of the society. The protective relationship between the tiger and the human figure may indicate respect or reverence, or the mythological nature narrative that has been lost to time. The ancient bronze vessel provides a compelling evidence that Chinese civilization has, from its earliest periods, been aware of and engaged with diverse human population. This continuous representation from the Shang Dynasty, bronze through the Tang Dynasty, ceramics and paintings demonstrate a long-standing pattern of cultural exchange and artistic interest in human diversity. And the Shang Dynasty, just like it said, was one of the very oldest dynasties that started out. And one of the very oldest dynasties to started out depicting ancient black people in their artwork and in their religious practices. And this is just another key fact. I'm at some more videos and at the end of this. It's just another key fact just showing that a lot of the traditions and culture and religion that China has today were foundationally came from so-called black people. This is something that a lot of people don't say, and this is the main reason why I created this channel, was to go around to every country, every culture, and show so-called people of color that all of these societies would not have many of the things they have today if it wasn't for so-called melanated people. taking the time out to teach these people how to read, how to write, how to sculpt, how to do these things. And without us, we the season of the earth, we the salt of the earth. We bring the life and the color to everything. We the spirit, we bring the life to everything. And that's what the Most High designed us to be. And that's the purpose of my channel, is just showing how we are the salt of the earth. And I appreciate y'all taking the time for this video. I'm not gonna make it run long because I got some clips I'm gonna show you at the end. And be looking out for another video. Shalom, Ahava Kava, and y'all be safe.
American Chinese food has become a staple around the world, with restaurants offering everything from egg rolls to General Tso's chicken. But what many people might not know is that much of what is considered Chinese food is actually a product of the 1960s and 1970s. During this time, Chinese takeout restaurants began to proliferate in New York City's black working-class neighborhoods. These restaurants were often family-run operations and offered affordable, filling meals that could be eaten on the go. This cuisine, known as American Chinese food, owes much of its popularity to African Americans. According to Philip Linar's article How the Chinese Food Became an NYC Staple, the relationship between African Americans and Chinese food goes back to the 1800s, when Chinese immigrants worked alongside African Americans in the South. By the early 1900s, Chinese restaurants began opening in New York City's Chinatown, but they were largely